So wow, what a unique aesthetic and approach, and like it's kind of like you've got an indie sensibility and a fashion aesthetic and a fractured narrative, and how did all this come together?
I mean, I think basically the concept was sort of interrogating sort of the way that we all use like image making and sort of myth building, like not just for brands anymore, but like each of us as an individual, if we have a social media account, we're engaging in image making and sort of brand building, and how like it's very kind of like dehumanizing. And so to kind of get to that point, I wanted to use all the tools of image making and sort of brand building stuff. So like I just kind of reference everything from fashion photography to sort of edit is kind of mimicking Instagram, TikTok sort of speed, to even like the intro sort of monologue that Max is giving is sort of referencing sort of like rappers sort of like AKA, blah blah blah, AKA that sort of thing. So all of it was kind of like all trying to make the same point with as many sort of flawless tools.
Yeah. What a beautiful cast.
Yeah.
Who are these people?
They're except for this weirdly, except for this side piece, who is a friend of mine who's a stand-up comedian. Everyone else is a runway model, and most of them had not acted before, and so like using runway models was just another thing that sort of again spoke to the theme of like it's not a thing I don't think that most people necessarily notice, but everyone's like too fucking pretty, you know. But like that kind of helped sell the idea.
Yeah. And you've worked in fashion now?
In streetwear and sort of sportswear and stuff, you know, like capital F fashion.
Oh, okay. So, it felt like it was kind of a little bit of a window to that world, or the culture of it?
Yeah. I mean, I live in New York. I've been around enough models and influencers and creative directors of various quotation marks.
Cool. Questions?
Yeah, so you obviously, you're a working filmmaker. It's kind of a follow-up to the first question, but there's like a line in the movie about portraits being lies.
Yeah.
It struck me. I was wondering if there was a moment through, in all the films you've made and the work you've done, where you realized you had to make this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was more about just like, most of the people here are filmmakers, and you just think about the fact that like you spend like a shitload of time making whatever the film is, and then you realize that that's not really enough. That you kind of need to become an entity to get people to know and be known in the scene and get people to click it and watch it. And I kind of hate having to do that, like I yearn for the days of like Stanley Kubrick, where he sort of make a movie and then be like, I'm gonna go fuck off for about 6 years and then I'll come back later, But like realizing that that wasn't just the thing that filmmakers have to deal with. Your fucking plumber has a TikTok, so it's like everyone is engaged in the same nonsense. Yeah. Both. It's both. I don't want to make TikToks. I don't want to make Instagram things. Yeah, no, but at the same time, I like the craft of it. I like making a beautiful image, and writing and all those things, but like, I don't want to have to do the song and dance. And I think that's the thing, is that like, to get anywhere, all of us have to do a bit of a song and dance that is totally different than the actual thing, the art that you're trying to make or the thing you're trying to express. You gotta do the song and dance to stick out amongst the rest of us.
tell us a little bit of that gorgeous shot with the strobing white light. That seemed like a kind of a big production to pull off in a public place. What was it like to get that shot?
Actually, it was actually fairly easy. It was just really 2 lights. We did have to have like a weird mixing board to basically the light guy was like actually strobing them by hand. It wasn't set on a timer. But because it was at the beach at night, there was people on the other side behind it, like at the boardwalk, but no one was on the beach. It was St. Hangs out on the beach at night. So people didn't really seem to care. But once we framed it up, we did that sort of that light inspired sort of thing in the background. Once we framed it up, it was really easy to do. And it was sort of actually a time-saving thing because I had storyboarded it out with like multiple shots to cover it, and we were just running out of time. And I was just like, "Fuck it, let's just do 1 shot and we'll get it all in that."
Yeah, I mean, this looks like a really big production, but
It's not.
It wasn't.
No, I mean, like, there were people, there was a truck, but it wasn't like a crazy production, and half the people were interns or, like, fresh out of school, sort of, kids. I was waiting for the question. No, I did not really light a car on fire. As I was writing it, I knew that I wanted an image of a car on fire, and literally stopped writing the script, went to a stock image site, found exactly the clip so that I could match the camera work from the shot before to it. Yeah.
That's so cool. So this is it feels like a bit of a departure from the work that I've seen in years before. Is this kind of a trajectory you're on, or are you gonna go on with something else?
I think the other stuff that I made is all still a piece. They're all a piece together. It's just sort of like different emphasis on different, sort of syllables. Like the last thing I made was more about performance and sort of like turning emotional screws, and this one was more about aesthetics and sort of a hoity-toity. I spend too much time on the internet.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us and for being a stalwart.
Yeah.